the UK. I live in a city called Newcastle, which is in the northeast of England. If you follow the Premier League, you might know our team. But I actually grew up in a city called Liverpool. So Liverpool is famous for another big football team, but also it's the home of the Beatles. But essentially, my story is that I grew up quite poor, at least in UK terms. I was raised by a single parent mother, and she raised two boys. I was one of them. And I was the first person in my family to ever actually get to university and graduate. And it was a big step to kind of go on that personal journey. But actually, education changed my life. The ability to learn things and improve and develop. I have very close synergies that my career went on to be very successful. And I became managing director. So I got my first managing director job at 33 to run a big manufacturing business that exported to 33 countries. And when my career kind of took off, I always wanted to give back. That was always really important to me as a person. So as I went through and learned and got very good at business education, one of the things that always annoyed me was that business education was always kept behind very expensive paywalls. So rich people stayed rich, and it was very hard for people from poorer backgrounds to learn what they needed to learn to actually have successful businesses and actually just learn how to become a fashion designer, as the testimonial said before. But actually, how do you learn the skills how to sell, but also about business strategy and finance and marketing and management? I wanted to process and learn all of that information, but essentially make it free. So I created something called the Roadmap MBA. And if you go to roadmapmba.com, you can get access to everything completely for free. There was no paywall. I pay for everything. And essentially what we want to do is help communities around the world be able to develop and almost learn the skills to help them build a better life for themselves at no cost. Because actually it's my way to give back. That we now have users in 141 different countries. That is a project that I started during COVID. I'm quite proud of. And admittedly, I did try to make it a commercial ed tech venture to try and sell and make lots of money from the startup, because why wouldn't I? But as I went through the business journey, what I realized was that we wanted to make business education accessible to as many people as possible. And actually, if we had a paywall there, we weren't achieving our mission. The truth is that all of your users and learners, I'm sure, would love, as the other testimonial said about the free plate of rice, that actually I've traveled all around the world and I wanted to give that free plate of rice, but just in terms of education, to actually help people build themselves a better life, if that makes sense. Because coming from poorer backgrounds, we don't always want handouts. People often imagine that you only get smart people from rich backgrounds, and I disagree with that. So what I wanted to do was prove it and create something which can help people around the world to learn sales and business strategy and all of the things that you can pay $200,000 for a traditional MBA. But the truth is, having done one, this is better. And it's that element of where for most people, when you're busy and you're starting a business and you're trying to just earn some money, you don't necessarily want to be writing big university reports. You just want the benefit. You want the skills to get better. So what I did was I created something which everyone on the call, all of your members, all of their communities, all of their families can access everything they need to know completely for free. And essentially I pay for it. Wow. So that's more than 1 minute, but that's my intro.
I actually know that you took more than 1 minute, but I also know that sometimes Newcastle also takes some time before they score. Sometimes during the extra time. You know what Steve did there? Marketed his club towards Newcastle. And I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of Liverpool fans here, Man U fans here, Real Madrid fans here, and so on and so forth. But you know what? Bless you, my brother. Bless your soul for the kind of project, kind of work you're doing. I looked into it and I was freaking impressed that this is going out there for free. And let's tie on business education, what you spoke about during your introduction. Now, Steve, tell me this now. What would you say is the importance of business education, especially when you are succeeding. Now, why do I say this? A lot of entrepreneurs from the grassroots, similar story like yours, with tenacity and with the drive, got to the top. Somehow they roughed their way there and they're there. And then we're there already. So what the hell do I need business education for? Steve Pro, the mic is yours.
So I work for some of the richest people in Europe. Some very rich Swiss families, they hire me as a consultant to improve their businesses. And these are guys that are worth hundreds of millions of pounds. They're very rich. But the truth is that you can get very lucky once. So you might invent a certain type of product and it just takes off. But real good business skills, and this is why being an engineer helps, is that I'm very good at problem solving. So the truth is, you might create a great business which does well now. But if the world changes, there's a pandemic, the economy changes, a competitor launches a new product, AI launches, the real skill which you can learn through good business education is the ability to take all of the information and stay on top. Does that make sense? So it's almost where you have people that start from scratch that might be a great fashion designer, but they don't know how to make any money and run a balance sheet and actually just run a bit small business. But actually, as you get bigger, it's almost, it's like having a train which moves faster and faster and faster. You need to get more prepared to keep that train on the tracks, because actually you might have borrowed money to launch your business. So actually, if you see that the demand for your product might slow down in 2 years' time, you might need to diversify, you might need to change your overheads, you might actually need to write a business plan to help you raise more money. But the truth is, most entrepreneurs are very good at one thing. It might be their fantastic idea and they work super hard. But the truth is, if you understand more about the game that we all play, you can put in the same amount of effort and go a lot further. Does that make sense? You can become a lot more efficient. And that's almost where even the world's biggest billionaires will still have mentors that just keep them on the straight and narrow and just give them ideas, because the world keeps changing. Does that make sense? So even if you have a fantastic business like the iPhone, Apple is going through a challenging time now because people are buying less of their phones and moving to other brands. So they need to look at the market and understand the customer and pivot and change what their offer is to stay on top. And even if you're worth $2 trillion like Apple is, they still have to keep going at the basics to understand the customer and then actually get their pricing right and their distribution and all of the things that, you know, you could be a banana seller. And it's almost the business basics are the same regardless of whatever business you're in. But actually, the more well-trained you are, the more chance of success you will have to navigate your career. So that's why I think it's important.
Very, very important, most especially from even the advice you've given. In a nutshell, guys, Steve just made it clear that enhancing your capacity would help you remain relevant in the market. It will also help you remain on top and also prepares you for challenges of the market. Brilliant, brilliant response, Steve. Really, really appreciate that. I realized that admin has been shutting down some cameras. And yes, I support it. If you are not properly dressed for Zoom, your camera is going to be switched off, or we will remove you from the group. So please, this is a formal gathering where everyone is advised to look appropriate and look decent, because you are selling yourself to the rest of the world. This is business we're doing here. And I will only do business with you if you look like a businessman or a businesswoman. Take note of that, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not in an appropriate space, settle down. Put on your camera, set yourself properly. I see somebody's putting the camera on their ear. I'm seeing your eardrums. I understand that your network might be bad, but the world has changed. Failure to adapt means failure to exist. The Zoom world is the new world. So set up your virtual world, set up your virtual office so that you can engage with international audience. That is one of the reasons why business education is important, because it will teach you what is happening currently. Currently, people are doing billions of transactions over platforms like this. And if you come looking like you are listening to a FM radio or come looking like you're a hunter about to climb the mango tree, I ain't gonna do business with you. Take note, entrepreneurs. Steve, I feel you and I enjoy you, and so are many entrepreneurs from different parts of the world. And I just want to pass this across as well. Now, you've been good in business, and I respect you and I congratulate you once again for that. But from your experience, what would you say is the most critical element for a successful business strategy? Like in all strategies you've built. And you know what, guys? Steve has been doing this for the richest clients in Europe. We all heard it. Now he's giving us this for free. These are things that they pay a lot of money for. But we're asking him this and he's giving us for free. In all the strategy you've been giving your clients, what would you say is the most important element, if there's anything like that, Steve?
So, and you're completely correct about Zoom, because when I mentioned before about how the world can change, with COVID, Zoom took off. But what that means is that I do consultancy for people in the United States from this room. But the people on this call could do exactly the same, and they can contact people in the United States and Europe and Switzerland and the UK. The barriers have gone. And actually, if you can sell yourself well in this environment, I'm on a contract at the moment supporting some people in the United States, and it's £1,000 per day, Great British pounds. And I'm sure, quite a few of your members might enjoy that kind of the money. But the point is, if you get this right, it's worth investing the effort. The best thing to actually do for your business or career, it's actually listening. So what you want to do is that if you have a business, if you have your head down and you're just busy working without looking up, you will never actually see what's happening in the future. So you might not see the change that is coming to do with the launch of Zoom, or if AI is going to come in. And the idea is that the more you're aware of what's going on in the world and the more your data points and sources, you can use that to solve problems. And very successful entrepreneurs can predict the future. So they might see that there is a trend moving, so that with the growth in digital access across Africa, there might be a huge business to benefit from, because as more and more people across Africa get access to high-speed internet, there could be fantastic businesses there. And the idea is that you're looking to see market changes, and then it's being smart enough to actually identify the gap or where the opportunity is, and then you go with that. And that's something that a very good entrepreneur does, and what people hire me as a consultant is that they will have an existing business. I'll give you an example. So I'm helping to grow an onshore wind business, so renewable energy. We're building a €100 million wind energy business. But the skills that you use when you operate in that industry, a lot of it is actually the same as electric vehicle ports. So what we're doing is the business has core assets that it uses. So it has skills in certain areas. And good business strategy looks at, well, where else can we use those same skills? And we found 6 or 7 different areas. So suddenly we can build a €500 million business, because we're not focused on just one area. But you have that when you actually look at the market, that the renewable energy space in the USA is growing massively, but they don't know how to do anything. So what we're looking to do is how you diversify from Europe into America. But it all comes from watching and using the internet and using LinkedIn to see what is growing and what isn't. And a big one which nobody has solved yet is the use of AI. But actually, it's how can you use tools to make yourself as efficient as possible? Because the irony is that if people hire you to do a job, so my wife is a lawyer, and might get paid £300 to write a contract. So the client pays her the £300 and she writes the contract. 3 years ago, she would do that by hand on a computer. Now with AI, she might be able to use that, and it might take her 2 minutes. But the idea is the tools have changed. And if you can learn the tools and adapt quicker than everyone else, you can get a competitive advantage. So my tip to everyone is to watch, learn, have mentors, look at what is happening in your industry. And then if you can react quicker than other people, that will often be lead to success. And then what we do on the roadmap is teach you how to do that. But also, once you have your business strategy in place, which sets the direction that you want to go, we then teach you about sales and marketing and finance and all of these different things. Because to have a successful business, you need all of the different aspects of business to work well together. Because you could have a brilliant product, great marketing, great sales, but if you can't manage your figures correctly, you could still go out of business very quickly. And that's where it's important, especially if you're the leader of the business, to learn a good breadth of skills across lots of things, because that's what will keep you rich, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure do makes a lot of sense. Steve, grab some water because you still have a lot to talk about. Thank you so much, Steve. And I hear you well. And I'm sure entrepreneurs in the room also hear you well. Part of the elements you dropped was the first point. You got to be aware. Entrepreneurs, you got to be aware of what's happening. What's the current trend? What is the new world? Things have changed. How many times do we need to tell you that? I used to wonder, like, if there's any place in my life where all I need to do is show up and show myself, I will freaking do that over and over again. I will never be in a room and switch off my camera. No, I am Sumi Smith Francis and the world needs to see me. I will never be in a room and keep quiet. I am Sumi Smith Francis and the world needs to hear me. Now, you can complain about where you are, but are you aware of the current situation of the reality of our world today? Gone are the days where the silent sit at the back, in the back of the room and hide yourself in a timid nature. Even, have you noticed that even proactive kids are already making money as kids in our world today? Kids that can talk. I follow a kid, I followed her from 3 years old. I think she's in Scotland or something. And all I do is listen to her advice. It's funny, but I just enjoy her. And I'll tell you something, Steve. I follow another kid. I just started following this kid, I think 2 days ago. And the guy's in a village, and very remote village. And I think it's about 1 year old. They're twins. And they can't even speak English. They speak in their local language, Yoruba. But I just enjoy the fact that this boy is sharp. It's just out there. If babies understand the reality of today's world, who are you to sit behind your camera with your cameras off? Who are you to stay in a dark room with a funny looking room? Don't you understand? What we are talking about today is what is the most relevant thing. And he said, be aware. Another thing he said is predict the future. You are there, you are not making money in the present, and you have not predicted the future. You are in trouble. You are in trouble. What is the future? This is to it. Recent, if I tell you the number of transactions I concluded just last week on this same Zoom, you won't believe it. So predict the future. The future is there will be little contact in the future. There will people just call you, what's up? If you cannot create a good virtual identity now, forget it, you're out of the market. The future is, hey, hi, like Steve said, an illustration he gave with his wife. Now, I always tell people something, and I say this every time. AI is useless without the brilliance of the human. I tell you very well, AI is useless. If you do AI for AI, you are a fool. Mind my language. But I repeat it, you are a fool. Mind my language again. AI for AI is nothing. When you AI is to guide you, AI is to remind you, AI is to trigger your thoughts, AI is to challenge your thoughts. When AI comes in the hands of a beautiful user or an intelligent user, only then will AI be appreciated. You know, sometimes I wish AI could speak back and it will tell you sometimes that, why you asking me such a stupid question? Are you done yourself? I've given you clue 1, clue 2, clue 3. What the hell are you still looking for? Now that's the future. How many of you have adapted to that? How many of you have started using those tools? How many of you are with friends that have many more tools? I look for many tools on AI, on social media. I follow any channel on AI because I want to follow the trend. I want to be able to predict the future. What else did he say? He said, we've got to adapt. He said, we've got to adapt. Are you adapting? Are you adapting to the new norm? Are you adapting that shop you have, people don't walk into shops no more? Are you adapting to the fact that you can be like Steve and be in the UK and sell to the United States? Are you adapting that a small is a waste of money? It can happen from your freaking room. Are you adapting to that reality? And said many more things. And the last one I picked was mentorship. He said it clearly that even his billionaire clients still have mentors. If billionaires can have mentors, who are you? I want to drink to that, Steve. I'm coming. Sometimes when I speak to my members, we gotta say it for real. They know me. I'm like this, bro. I say it as it is.
Can I add to what you said?
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
So the other thing which people often forget is that people buy from people. They want to know the personality. They want to know the values. They want to know the background. And actually, something that can make you special. So for you, it's your passion. It comes across. And people will hire you just for that. And what's really important is that it's building your personal brand. So that's what people know you for and know what your background is. And that's why your LinkedIn or your social media is very useful. Because people around the world, every business in the world has problems. And what they want is that, you know what, I need someone to help me solve this problem. I'm going to pick that guy. And the point is, as you say, if you sit at the back of the room and don't speak up and hide away, nobody is ever going to hire you because they'll hire me or you or someone else who does step up. So it's important to have the skills, but if you don't actually shout up and put yourself forward and raise your hand, guess what? They're going to pick someone else. And it is, everything you're saying is true.
Honestly, Steve, and guess what? You know, while you are speaking right now, brother, I got to say this, and I got to say this loud and clear. Do you know the world is so crazy right now that even the dumb will be hired? A loud, dumb, I don't want to use some words right now, but I know you know what is about to follow what I'm about to say. But let me change it. A loud, dumb idiot will get a job than a silent, intelligent person. Come, guys, go check it. Online, you can see people doing dumb things and they're making money. So we've got into a world whereby intelligence and stupidity pays. Intelligent people are even acting stupid online. You know what I'm talking about? You know this guy on social media? There's many of them. They're acting stupid and they're making money. So right now, it's no longer intelligence or stupidity. It's showing up. It's being present. It's being able to adapt. Thank you so much. I see many more people are waking up now, switching on their cameras and stuff. I understand that some of you might be in an uncomfortable space, but make sure every Saturday, 6 p.m. GMT +1, you set your table right, your chair right, your light in front of you. If you don't have power, get a rechargeable lamp, put everything right. Because just from that room, I promise you, you can get your biggest clients. You can get your biggest investor from that room. Take advantage of it. I was saying the last thing Steve spoke about was mentorship. And he said that billionaires have mentors. Why? Because a mentor will guide you. A journey of 10 years can become 1 year with a mentor. You know, the mistakes, you see, the most beautiful thing, they say that experience is the best teacher. Do you know the best teacher for me? The experience of another man. Do you know how beautiful that is? You don't have to experience the things I've gone through. Do you want to know what I've gone through? Do you even think you have the stamina to experience what I've gone through, the mistake I've made? Do you think it was just a joke that I created this organization? You think it was fun? This organization was created out of frustration. I was crying when this organization was born. And I said to God, if you see me through this that I'm going through, I will create a platform where the other entrepreneurs in Africa will not go through the same thing I went through. I bet you don't want to go through that frustration. Now, the most intelligent thing you can do is learn from the experience of another. And that's mentorship. Get the right mentor. And I used to say, getting a mentor is not a billionaire. Getting a mentor is not the guy that shows off driving Rolls Royce on Instagram. Getting the mentor is not the most beautiful girl that uses Brazilian hair and wears the nice heels and nice bag. No, fashion is not mentorship. Experience alignment is mentorship. A person that goes through if your pattern is the same. Steve's background can easily make me say, yes, he's my mentor. Why? Started from nothing. From a poor background. So Steve's story can easily make me rich. can really easily direct me the right way because it will understand my pain points. If I follow the billionaire's son, honestly speaking, it will give you a billionaire's son's advice. Because you know what? He does not even understand what hunger is. So how do you explain it to him? He doesn't know, he hasn't experienced it. So thank you so much, Steve. I really, really appreciate that response. I just needed to emphasize some of these things that you have said. Now, you've dealt with clients, and I really want to feed off your clients. I know that they paid a lot of money, and I'm going to extract these things for free. And every one of us are going to get it for free. And because Steve said in his own words, he wants to give as many plates of rice as much as possible to the rest of the world. And I use this opportunity, just before we proceed, follow Steve. Follow Steve. I beg you, follow Steve. You're following the right person. As your president, I advise you, follow him on LinkedIn. Join the platform. Roadmap. It's an amazing tool. Costs you nothing. It's an amazing tool. Subscribe, get on it, and I will tell you more about it later. But let me write on some of the experiences from Steve's clients. What are the most common mistakes that you find, Steve? Probably in your own journey, or maybe some of your clients' journey. What are the most common mistakes that you think, that you know that entrepreneurs make, especially in sales? Thank you.
Okay. So the big thing for sales, it's on two parts. I've also just shared a link to the book so people can download the PDF right now completely for free. The biggest mistake is, one, they sell the wrong product. So if you try and sell, I don't know, a horse and cart, and you've sold horse and carts for 50 years, and then someone invents the car. People want cars now. They don't want. And the idea is that it's really important to make sure you're selling something that people actually want to buy, because you could spend 18 hours a day working super hard and people just don't want to buy that thing anymore. So that's the first thing. Once you've done that, it's then to actually start to put in a structure. So something we teach on the course is to actually, you need to start at the end, as in, so if you know that you need to earn $10,000 per month or $1,000 per month, and every bottle of water that you sell, you make 50 cents. The idea is you then realize, okay, so I need to sell 2,000 bottles of water every month. If I work 22 days a month, so that is, I don't know, 100 bottles a day, which works out to 10 bottles of water an hour. The idea is the most important thing for sales is to actually do the maths to work out how much money do I need to live off, or how much money do I want to earn? And then actually you use that and you work backwards to work out, okay, that means if I want to become a millionaire or I want to earn this much money, I need to sell 5 of these every hour. So if you go through your first hour and you sell none, and your second hour and you sell 2, you're not going to hit your target. But the idea is that through doing something like that, and we teach that on the roadmap, you can actually set up the structure so that over the course of a month, you will know if you're ahead or behind target. And the idea is, rather than letting sales be a game of chance, what you're doing is putting structure in so that you know that if you put in the reps, you actually do the actions, we call them lead actions, you're a lot more likely to be successful than just hoping that you'll get some sale.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why did you say that, Steve? Why did you say that? Now my blood is nobody triggers my blood. No, everybody knows you don't go there, Steve. You don't arouse the thing in me. Why did you go that deep, Steve? Come on, man. You should have just stopped at the first statement you made. Do you guys get what this man just said? Now,
we teach it on the course, page 64. But all of this, everything you need to know is for free in the PDF in the link. I'm sure one of the team will share it. Sure. But the idea is that, but if you've never been taught any of this stuff, where would you learn it? And you could go to a library and read hundreds of books and speak to mentors and spend 20 years in business to find out what doesn't work. And I did that. I did it the hard way through lots of different jobs to learn everything you need to know. But I wrote it down into one place so that people in 141 countries now can learn everything they need to know about business and sales completely for free, because it was my way to give back and help the community. So now people can just go to one page on a book that I wrote and learn that one thing that took me years, but it could change their life, that one idea.